Jacques Chirac, the former president of France, famously predicted that without Africa, France would drop to the third world. It appears to be happening now, since French companies who were expelled from Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali are suffering enormous losses. It was recently disclosed that Air France suffered a total loss of 65 million euros as a result of being expelled from the Sahel. Air France wants to go back to the Sahel since the loss has been so devastating. But Burkina Faso's Ibrahim Traore and other military chiefs in Mali and Niger will not allow that to occur. What are France's desperate efforts to return to Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger immediately, and what losses are it suffering? Africa served as France's economic backbone for many years, during which time it extracted money and used its geopolitical clout to control the continent. But everything has completely changed in Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali since revolutionary military commanders took control. They brought about a significant shock that has shook France and French businesses, marking a turning point for the country. France's economic hegemony over the region has been broken by the removal of French troops, businesses, and political clout from Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. The financial ruin that Air France has experienced since being forced to leave the Sahel is the clearest example of this collapse. The airline has lost more than 65 million euros. The Sahel was more than just a destination for Air France. That it was a very lucrative monopoly. With 500 million CFA francs from Mali, 430 million from Niger, and 390 million from Burkina Faso, the airline made an incredible amount of money per day, more than 2 million euros. This amount of profit demonstrated how much France's economic existence relies on the Sahel. Furthermore, we are merely discussing one of the hundreds of businesses. However, Air France lost one of its most profitable sources of income when military-led administrations emerged in these countries and firmly rejected French domination. The airline is currently struggling to restore access to the market as a result of the financial disaster. But the new regimes have made it plain that the days of unbridled French exploitation are past. A new era of African administration, one that places a higher value on sovereignty than submission, is embodied by the revolutionary leaders of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. To break France's military and economic hold on their nations, these presidents have taken decisive action. This is because they are aware that France's financial gains from Africa are the reason it has leverage. France will lose the financial help that it receives from other countries if these are terminated. You should be aware that, despite its long-standing reputation for economic might and industrial might, France's success was largely based on resources it did not actually own. For many years, France was a major exporter of gold, uranium, and other key minerals, even though it had little to no substantial deposits of these resources. These were not French resources. They were from Africa. While African countries remained underdeveloped, France made money by removing them from its previous colonies and rebranding them as its own. Gold was one of the most prominent instances of this exploitation. Despite having no significant gold mines, France exports a lot of the valuable metal. West African countries like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger have long been the source, as mining operations there were dominated by French corporations under unfair contracts. While the gold was processed in France and sold as a French commodity, these agreements made sure that only a small portion of the money created went to African nations. On live television, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni publicly criticized France for this. France's alleged gold exports have virtually vanished as a result of Sahel countries regaining their resources and expelling French businesses, demonstrating how reliant on African wealth it was. Lithium, cobalt, uranium, and coltan, minerals necessary for batteries, electric cars, and modern technology, follow the same trend. Despite having negligible stocks of these minerals, France is nonetheless a major participant.